Hi everyone, we're here for another episode of the Good Vibe Show, and this time it's cricket and Captain Sushil Kapoor, who has lived cricket for so many decades, and before that he's been a banker and an army officer. Welcome to this episode.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And he's also been the Organizing Secretary of the All India JP Atre tournament right from its inception till today, 29 episodes gone. So let's start with the tournament. How has been the journey and what do you feel about the tournament today?
It's just absolutely fabulous, I should say, at the 29th edition, which we just concluded on the 20th of this last month. As a matter of fact, 16 teams as it is has been there for the last almost 2 decades now. We had started off early in 1992 with a 6 teams complement, and now we have gone up to 16 teams. And you can imagine that 27 to 31 matches are always played against and at 50 over game at all times and across the continent. I should say, when I say about the Indian continent for that matter.
Absolutely. And then when you meet these former players or current players and you've been traveling for cricket throughout India, they often talk to you about the tournament.
Yeah, they talk a lot about that. As a matter of fact, when you would look around the place, about 135 international players have already been with us. And in one of the about 2 years back, we had about 7 people who were playing for the India team at that time, who had played for our tournament during that time.
Yeah, and recently Rishabh Pant, the Pandya brothers, Ayush Badoni, Nehal Vadera, very quick young players, they're playing already. So I want to also talk about the fact that you started your career as an army officer. When was this love for cricket within you?
Well, it started off, as a matter of fact, as college days. I was at DAV College in Jalandhar. I passed it out in 1959. And after that, I pushed off to Chandigarh and on 60. From 60 onwards, my love with cricket was there. And our tournament, which started in 92, and as a matter of fact, cricketing world, after I finished my 5 years of army, in 1970, when we had Haryana Cricket Association in the ambit, and when we started off with Kapil Dev, Yograj was the second part. Before that, we had Dr. Ravinder Chadha, Sarkar Talwar, and many more others.
But talk about those 5 years in the army. Briefly tell us your experience there.
Well, it was when you see we had everything like Nagaland, now we say called insurgency. Then you have the North Sikkim, where is, of course, if I had an altitude of about 16,000 feet, whereas I was for 1 year. So you can imagine the two diversities of two places, Nagaland to North Sikkim.
And then Punjab boy, Kapoor family, very comfortable, and then suddenly into that. How was the contrast and how was it going?
Well, I now possibly feel that 5 years stint in the army was absolutely what was the requirement, and what has turned out around is that from 1992 to, let us say, 2024, 29 times, this has been I have been able to garner these boys around. Nobody was there as you could say that somebody from the known faces, just normal people from the good, and we are able to deliver all these goods all the time.
Absolutely. That army training gave you that.
That's
and also you've been a wordster, your love for language, writing, and that speaking ability. So where did that come from?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't know, but somehow the other, even my friends when I was in school, those who have been there, they say, Kaptan Sahab, aapki Angrezi to badi achhi thi. So that is it. And I do
You were in Shimla also, I believe.
Yeah, I was in Shimla.
Where were you studying in school times?
I was in DAV school in Shimla, and then it was BM College and SDBM College in Shimla. Later on, gone to DAV College, Jalandhar.
I see. And here we have something on Kapil Dev. So let's talk about your relationship and how Kapil Dev came into your life or you came to his life. And also you have brought with us the wedding card of Kapil Dev and Romi ji. And when Kapil got married, of course, this is only a very natural part of Sushil Kapoorji's life. Talk about your closeness to Kapil right from the beginning.
Well, as a matter of fact, you see, let me tell you, what for that, when I was during the army days also, I used to send money to my friends in the who played for Central Cricket Club for Chandigarh at that given time.
Oh.
And then they would send me the results to the matches that they played there.
So
Even
from your salary, meager salary it must have been, you used to send money to the Central Cricket Club of Chandigarh. And who was in that club at the
all these boys, Ravinder Chadha and Sarkar Talwar, they were at that Swami Talwar, they were part of the system.
Okay.
And Kapil Dev came onto the bandwagon, I should say, in 1970 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And from there on, he lashed on, and along with Kapil Dev, Yogaraj Singh, and
Ashok
Malhotra, they were the first ones, and then of course Chetan Sharma and others would fall in. But they were the ones, and then as a matter of fact, let me tell you, when Kapil came into the limelight as a cricketer, as a test cricketer for that matter, and Malhotra, he said, Shil bhai, Cuckoo, that is his nickname.
Kapil's nickname.
That Cuckoo, इसको तो मैं इतना मारता था, ये टेस्ट में चला गया.
Ashok Malhotra.
Yeah, exactly these are the words. Then I told him, I said, बेटे, तू मारता था, ठीक है, वो चला गया है, अब तू चला जाएगा. And thereafter, about 2 years, he got into that.
He also played. So what did you notice in Kapil Dev? You probably met him when he was about a 13-year-old. What were his strong points?
His strong points were diligence, devotion, and delivery. And he would do it every day. There was nothing like, today we talk about that Bumrah cannot do this thing for so much time. There was nothing like Kapil Dev. Kapil Dev would play for the time he would like to play in the nets. 8 batsmen to be bowled.
Oh God.
Then go for running. And he would always say, Kashil bhai, running is the, and even now, he says running is the thing. I would tell you a story. What happened that there was one of the Punjab players who was a fast bowler. He said, sir, मैं जब भागता हूं तो मेरा ये सर ऐसे टिल्ट हो जाता है. तो उसने बोला कि सर कपिल देव सर आए हैं, थोड़ा सा मेरे को उसको बता दीजिए. तो I asked Cuckoo, I said, बेटे, if you can do this thing for that? He said, शील भाई अभी मैं काम कर रहा हूं, लेकिन अगर शाम को, in the evening, can you beat it? This fellow, he goes there and he corrects that man. He says, अच्छा, अब तू इसको जाके लेफ्ट को आगे कर और डाल फोड़, और फिर उसको राइट को कर, और उसने यहां से पकड़ लिया. Caught him from the scuff. अब बोला हिलाओ जरा, नहीं हिला सका. He said, this is what it is. You have to do that thing. And so that man would go and do things for himself. Not that only he did that, he did for other people also. That is the delivery point. And that is why he is supposed to be one of the best in the world. Not only in India.
Absolutely
but
right.
That is
So Kapil Dev is so humble as well. Tell us about the story when the World Cup was won. They came to Bombay. You happened to be there.
Yeah.
And they were celebrating. So what happened that day?
Just imagine, I happened to be in Bombay for that matter. And that is Bombay at those times. Now it is Mumbai. And I had gone there. So I know that police is there. They would not allow you to go there or something. As the bus came down, and Yashpal, Kapil Dev, all these chaps, Madan Lal, and others were there, Mahendra Amarnath. So I was about, maybe to be exactly about 30 yards away from where I was.
From the coach of bus?
Yeah, from the bus. And I shouted, I said, Cuckoo! Exactly at this shop. And he turned around. He said, Shilbhai, come. And now police will not stop me. So I went there. So we went upstairs, and can you imagine what was available at that time? Pakoda और चाय, और वो छोटे वाले चाय का एक कप, वो गिलास होता है ना,
for the World Cup winning champions,
जिसे कटिंग बोलते हैं हम लोग. और वो कार के, then we came down. The chief minister was there. I was accosted with. I was put on the desk there alongside with others, and the whole stadium which you now saw this year. And that was the time at that time.
Mumbai, and if he had not heard your call or had you been a bit away, then that moment would have gone.
Oh, yeah.
So there were no mobiles and there was no connection otherwise.
You see, even as a matter of fact, it was taken by the newspaper also. And when I was
your
going
picture
to that,
came, and I believe you were in trouble with your boss in Central Bank because he had taken some leave or not taken leave, and he was in the paper. He said, "Tum kaise pahunch gaye wahan?"
So I said, "कि भाई जब मैं गया था तब तो बाद में गया पहले नहीं था."
Acha, tell me about cricket as a whole. You've been writing about cricket. I was seeing these articles, and this is what is this one? There's an interview. So, what has cricket given you, and how has it changed over the years?
Well, as a matter of fact, I should say it is the openness for the people to come. You see, if you now say, when we talk about, you will be surprised. I have friends. I've got some things here from people of yesteryears, like Claudius and others from hockey. They have got the legends of hockey who have given me writing and even at that given time. But cricket has gone beyond the individual, for that matter. It is, I should say, it's not only with it used to be the elite people. It is no more elite. Now it is the Panwala and the downtrodden. Everybody is out there.
And the boys who are coming, Rinku Singh and Yashasvi,
Jaiswal, they're delivering.
And they're delivering.
The only thing I feel a little bad about at this given time is they are too young. But the money being plundered on those them, it may not be
it's very
the
much
right
so.
thing.
What about other sports? How should cricket help other sports? Why is India so cricket centric? How can we help other sports?
Well, we got to you see, concentrate. You see, now the only thing is in our parlance, what's happening is that hockey, nobody wants to go. Kabaddi, now what is it? Kabaddi is a game which does not require anything else. But nobody would do, not many people will go. It's some sheen around that. Something has to be taken off from there. I do not know, because I do not know what happens. What should I say? The people or the people who are looking after these youngsters, are they looking after towards other games? They are not.
In fact, you're right. I think, personally speaking, cricket should remain as it is. But there are many youngsters in other activities who should come to sports. And maybe other sports like hockey, tennis, football, cricket, table tennis.
But nobody is pushing them.
Nobody is pushing them. So youngsters of today who are going into, let's say, drugs, alcoholism, money making, and too early in life, were they in sports, we would be a better society.
Definitely. I mean, sorry, I'm not talking about this thing. Otherwise, if I was to talk about this, they have not a four-year term now for a youngster to go to the army also, na?
That Agniveer.
Agniveer.
Yeah.
Now I said, what is wrong with Agniveer? I'm not interested whether it is one party or the other party or some party or not party. Because Agniveer, if you ask me, 4 years to a youngster, if he's, let's say, he's at the age of 18 or 19, and he goes there, and he'll be 23. When he comes back, he is a person, even if he is taken up for any job, or if he goes himself for that thing, he will be a different person. The IQ level would have gone a lot many more, and he will be sturdier than the normal person. So that is one.
You're also known among the cricketers, and you know all of the Indian cricketers and many foreign cricketers who used to come to Mohali or Chandigarh. You've been a part of public.
There it is.
You've been in the Punjab Cricket Association.
Yes.
You're also known as the polo man. So tell us about that polo.
Yes,
got something to show us.
I'll tell you. As a matter of fact, now you just imagine this is the gentleman who has written for the. This is the other one. I'll just give it to you. Here, it was around here. About the, or maybe yes, there it is. I'll show you. Now you can see it for yourself. What it is says.
So there's a letter from Mr. Phil Neal, operations manager of the England team 2006. He says, you have acted as my liaison with BCCI and have done everything in your power to resolve any problems. Also been a regular supplier of chewing gum, which has become your trademark in the dressing room. How nice.
So this is something.
Once again, thank you for doing a difficult job very well. And Phil Neal.
This is 2001, 2006.
Yeah,
so see,
wonderful.
Those are the people.
This goodwill, that appreciation, everybody in cricket knows you. Everyone I travel, I also go around the tournament as well as Punjab cricket. What about old friendships? You still in touch with Mr. Pandav and others? And
we are.
Talk about the journey with them.
Yeah, I met him yesterday only, but I'll give you an anecdote about Dhoni.
Okay.
It was about this thing we are talking about. So, Polo. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. The England team was going away. I was with the England team. This is what you have just found.
Managing the England team, yeah.
So, I had come down from the hotel in Bombay, and suddenly Dhoni walks in. And can you imagine? 4 a.m. in the morning, up comes his hand, sir, Polo. I said, yeah, Mahi, at this time I couldn't imagine.
You were just seen off the England team.
Yeah.
And here is Dhoni awake at 4 a.m. and he wants a Polo.
In the morning. That is the kind of,
You are identified with that.
Yeah, so
but these friendships, let's talk about them. How have they endured? And
yeah. They have, you see, let's say, as a matter of fact, it should be now almost 40 years, 50 years for that matter. As a matter of fact, your dad, for that matter, in 1992, when 91 he passed away, and 92 we started this tournament.
Yeah.
And many people would know about what thing happened. In 1984, if you remember, in Chandigarh, there was curfew and everything. And can you imagine, nobody would move out from there. And I just spoke to his dad,
Mr. JP Atre.
Mr. JP Atre at that given time.
Yeah.
And he ensured that within half an hour, somebody was there to escort me there. So that was the kind of...
that was the kind of friendship, and Mr. Kapoor has brought an album here. He's got some photographs with Kapil Dev, with Sanjay Dutt, with
this is the,
and Mr. Pandav, etc.
And this is the Chief Minister of Punjab
at that time. And if you notice that full sleeve shirts and rolled up sleeves instead of today when we have those very athletic looking people.
Yeah,
also, what do you think a youngster should be looking at? I mean, how important a role is sports playing, and what should young people imbibe as qualities today?
As a quality, the first thing is that you have to have, first, before you get into something, is you should have the courage to do whatever you want to do. So people are very timid. They don't understand, but it happens. It is there. And you have to be courageous, steadfast, and deliver. You see, if you can't do those things, nothing will happen. You will be just there at the outskirts and stay there and get away from there.
And what about cricketers? Like you often give them pep talks during a match or after a match. A sportsman who is not performing well or who got out to a casual shot. What is your advice to such a boy?
See, as a matter of fact, they should always think that cricket is a team game. It is not an individual who's performing. Because you see, one individual will never make a break even if he gets 100. You need to have minimum of 4 people or 4 batsmen for that matter, out of 11 to do for this thing. And if you are not able to do it, you will not able to deliver it. And for that, you don't have to say, castigate the other fellow by saying, this did not happen because of that. You have to stop this thing. It is not there. You should interact to yourself, why did I do well and why I could not do well? At the end of the day, it will give you the result as to why it happened. But instead of saying why he did not do it or he did not do it, it is the self who has to be the center for them.
Absolutely right. And who are the sportsmen or cricketers you admired in early days when you were a youngster, and who do you admire today?
At that given time, if I tell you a very good friend who's no more there, late Swami Talwar, was an opening batsman and a thorough gentleman. Now, this is what we call. You see, when I talk about Mr. Atre, I talk about not as a police officer, as a gentleman police officer, because normally people don't talk about police being gentleman. So he was gentleman first, police later. So same thing is here.
Cricket.
So
cricket is a gentleman.
So Swami Talwar was a cricketer, later a gentleman to the hill.
And who do you admire in the current Indian team? Which player more?
Current Indian team, I would say, I'm sure who has been castigated or has not been done very well for him, for himself. He has done well for himself, but people don't talk about him, is Rohit Sharma. I think he's by far the best person, but whenever you will write books about other people, when we'll write things about people, there will be a lot about talked about. Tendulkar will be talked about, other people, but Dhoni and others will be there. But this fellow, I think, has delivered immensely over the years.
I totally agree. In fact, your journey is one of a lot of passion for the game, for sports, for youngsters. You have been selfless in so many ways. You have looked after so many people. And I have seen you in your journey as well. And now your health is back to being what it should be. Very proud to be associated with the tournament. We wish you well and the family. And thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.